look, everybody's doing it. Let's, like, and people are going to be like, oh, let's make art. We're all making art. We're all artists now. Let's all hold hands and we're artists. It's like, no, get the fuck out of here.
All right.
And we're back. Yeah,
Yep.
This isn't FaceTime.
It's been a minute. I know. No, this is Skype.
You look different.
Yeah.
You look so different.
You look a little different from last night too.
Oh man, we really tore one open.
So you're getting ready for open studios?
I am getting ready for my first open studios in 3 years.
Yeah.
Since the last one in Somerville, 2019, with you actually there.
Well,
with
you did
me.
one during the pandemic, but it was all video or something, right? Or
Yeah,
something like that.
I did like they set up a video Zoom chat room kind of situation,
Mm-hmm.
so people could pop in the room at any time, and it was actually fun. I got to see like Dave Sarno and a few other folks that made the virtual trip.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, not the same. It was a bit of a fiasco. Everybody was still getting used to the whole, conversations via computer. And
yeah, it was a super strange time too. Like us,
it was a weird
coming
time.
in and then like hi.
Yeah, like and it's very difficult. Not like you could be anonymous when you walk in the studio, but when you walk in the studio, you can be like, "Hi, how are you? Have any questions?" But it's not like you're sitting there and staring
at each other,
waiting for someone to say something interesting.
Because video chat alone is very strange, even when you're doing it with a friend.
Yeah.
But never mind being a complete stranger or something. And then also, too, you're coming into a conversation that's already being had against a couple other people.
It kind of puts you in a corner where you're forced to engage in whatever conversation's going there. It's hard to be a wallflower when you're like in the virtual room. Anyway, this is the first time in 3 years that I have a chance to open my doors up and show what I've been doing for the past 3 years as well.
Too. Yeah.
And it's inside of a new studio, which is now about a year been putting together, and it's up and running pretty smoothly at this point. And I've been able to now clear everything out. I also, besides the open studios, I haven't been able to do any sort of art venue exhibitions like most other artists, not having opportunity to look at my own work in a group, and in installation or environment, kind of like setting all the work up right now in the studio has been exciting, because it's like you make the painting, you make the frame, and then one of the main steps for me is the process of displaying the work, creating an environment or the walls, depending on where it's showing, of course. But that is a big step, and it's been missing a lot, and I haven't had a chance to sort of reflect on the body of work over a span of time altogether and see how it makes me solve certain challenges of how to show the work.
Yeah.
And new things come up, like the pedestals for the sculptures and stuff like that. Yeah, it just makes it forces you to create solutions that then become part of the vernacular, the vocabulary of your work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's these open studios. I think the open studio is one of the best ways to see an artist's work in its natural environment.
Absolutely.
And you get to see so much of the work that doesn't go into any exhibitions.
You also get to see a lot of stuff that's usually floating around. That's whether it's inspiration for the person or just the little tools, the
tools,
everything,
the books, the
doohickeys.
All the doohickeys and nonads and glams and frigging row.
Yeah. And it's also, it's like, I love just kind of working in my studio and but it's a lot of times you just feel like you're kind of in your own vacuum of creativity, and then
Yeah.
you need to eventually get it out there, and it's nice to see other people's input or
Yeah,
their take on it,
and people ask questions, and forces you to talk about your work a little bit more, even seasoned as we are, and we know how to talk about our work. It really helps to practice, and then get input from other people to inspire ourselves about our work, and see things that other people see that we don't see in our work.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Yeah,
or
and it keeps you from being shell-shocked.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Remembering that there's other people out there,
Yeah, you can't get to Grey Gardens in your fucking studio and just like locked up and caught up in your own head chasing your tail. I wind up just I love repetition in work, but certain repetition is not good repetition. It's like it could be damaging. It could be even like regressive, and in getting fresh eyes, we are our worst critics, but at the same time we let ourselves get away with everything. And if we put our stuff on display, we're assuming that it's going to be shown to people who know how to snuff out the hacks, and so you want to make sure to put your best foot forward. You're not gonna like half-ass it or half measure it. You're really gonna go all out and put out some strong, honest work. Otherwise, you're going to get called out, by critic or by peers or whatever. And it's not like you're going to be chastised or canceled or anything, but you're going to be called out for what it is that you're doing in your work that you're getting away with because you're phoning it in. And need to just be kept on our toes and our heels. So sometimes. Yeah. So if we happen to get this podcast out within the next 4 days, on Saturday, September 24th, I'm having the Open Studio in Jamaica Plain in Massachusetts, Boston area. If you're around, it's just for one day from 11 till 4 p.m. And just go to davidhochbaum.com to find out all the details. I'm not going to give all the details here because
you have it all up on the website.
Yeah, davidhochbaum.com on the front page. It's going to be up there until after the Open Studio, and if not, and then you need a time machine to go back in time to go see the Open Studio. There's always next year. Yeah. Oh boy, but it's been. I think I was trying to think. I didn't look it up, but I was trying to think. The last time we actually did a podcast was, I think, when we did our tribute to Les Barony. I think that was the last one we did.
Probably, yeah.
So it's been well over a year.
Yeah.
Since we did our last thing, but we've been awfully busy in between, and just taking a break. Taking a break is good.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the most reliable weekly podcast, but
no, it's not. It's not a weekly podcast. It is a podcast that exists, and that's it. And even if we go for a whole year, we're still paying for the service to be on SoundCloud, regardless. And so obviously there's something in us that want to keep it alive, because times like this when we're like, all right, let's get amped up. I got something to talk about.
We do have something to talk about because we're here to.
We're here to discuss something very specific. We try to get our fire under our butts, so let's come up with something that puts fire under our butts. Let's talk about fucking.
You brought this up, and I was
let's
do it.
AI shit, because it's been popping up in my feeds. I've been noticing people have been experimenting with, and just recently I even see some friends of ours putting out podcasts about it as well. And so it's in the ether. People are discussing it, and I think it's a relevant subject to sort of engage and confront, and that is the AI creation of art. And not like, oh no, we must talk about it. It's not as strong as an issue as abortion, but it's something that let's discuss it as artists. I'm curious about David Stoupakis' opinion, and I also want I want to vent about it because I honestly have not talked to anybody about this
Yeah.
at all.
And you said you didn't do much looking into it other than just seeing kind of people's, like, whether that
Yeah,
they were messing around with it
yeah,
in their
just
news feed and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
just seeing how some people are like experimenting with it and
Yeah.
putting, in their posts on Instagram and whatnot. Because right now Instagram is the only social media that I'm up on, that I'm active with. I've erased most of my Facebook a few years ago. It's still there, but I
Yeah.
don't use it. And I don't do the Tic Tacs, and I don't
Tic Tacs.
do any of the other things. But I do notice some people in their posts, they say their brief feelings about it, like,
Yeah.
and most of it is like, I'm not sure how I feel about it,
That's
but
what I was going to ask
here's
you. So
this.
what do you, so the most feedback that you've seen online has been people being like kind of on the fence about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, they're playing around with it and creating some interesting looking things,
Yeah.
which,
It's pretty fucking insane. It's so here's some of my thoughts about it. Is that I think it's my first reaction to it was what the fuck? Like, so I was following, or not even following, I kept on seeing this one artist's artwork and I was like, this is incredible. Like
right,
it's such it was like this very classical um, kind of religious looking work that had like lots of like kind of angels and figures in them, but they were all kind of very abstract and kind of no faces,
hmm
and everything was melding into each other,
hmm
and they looked like paintings to me.
right, right,
And even if they were digital, they looked like really well done digital paintings.
yep.
And it almost made me feel bad about my own work. I was like, this is so ingenious. This is
Yeah, well,
incredible, right?
that's what computers are for,
Right.
to make you feel like a fucking useless piece of shit, right?
So then I stumble upon the AI thing, and I start realizing by looking at more and more stuff, it's in the same style of this AI art,
Yeah,
and I go, oh, that's what that
it
is.
does have a certain
That's
flavor that
all
carries
this.
through it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So then that was my like, what the fuck, like this sucks,
Right. Yeah.
kind of
This is
first
cheating.
feeling, yeah, about
Yeah.
it, right?
Right.
And that, but then I started thinking about the absolute beneficial sides of it. Is like if you're kind of having a block or something like that, or you wanted to just play around with some ideas to get some
Mhm.
inspiration, and even
Sure.
maybe even using elements from it, into your
Right.
work, and
Sure.
then that side of it I thought was ingenious, and
Yeah.
and that and just but still on the fence about it because you have something thinking for you, creativity
Right.
wise,
Right.
and it's not coming from a complete pure place, but at the same sense, all my paintings hugely photo reference. Now, granted, I find the objects, I find the models, I find the things that I use within my work to create this final outcome over the whole
Right.
thing. So then you start thinking, well, how different is it from that? I mean, granted, it's different, but it's like
Yeah,
you
but
start
it makes you
playing with
consider
this
it.
this idea of just yeah, just well, and then I start thinking,
How useful is your individual voice to the, you start wondering, what's the point of me even putting my input in if a computer can just spit it out?
yeah, yeah. So then I start thinking about Photoshop, and I start thinking about other elements of things that I've used over the years,
Right.
or other
Different
digital
tools.
platforms and
Yeah.
tools and that. So
Right.
then I start thinking more about, okay, now this can be maybe used more as kind of a tool for this thing.
Mhm.
And honestly, it's still it doesn't fully capture everything yet, but it will. In due time. I mean, due time, you won't be able to tell the difference
Yeah. Well,
between.
right now it's just it's going.
Oh,
It
it's just in
has
the infancy.
endless resource of imagery,
Yeah,
and to pull from and to mix together. It could pull image and style, technique and tone. You could, I guess, input all that kind of stuff,
yeah,
into it. I haven't tried using one of these like generators
Yeah,
or
me neither. Not
I
yet.
haven't even gone
Yeah.
to the websites. I haven't even read about it. I've just been looking at what's coming out, and I have noticed one thing is that it has a very similar tone, almost like an artist that has a certain flavor to their voice. Even though the imagery can be very different, there's a certain kind of a taint to it, almost like how something would have a plasticky smell. No
Sure,
matter what,
sure.
it always has
Yep,
that taint, and I'm sure that that's going to become less and less evident as technology gets
absolutely.
better. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really interesting tool, and it's an interesting gimmick. Like a useful tool can also become a
Crutch.
arbitrary gimmick.
Okay. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
arbitrary, something that's not necessary, and it's a trick. It's like a somebody who does the 3D shadow effect and everything. Because
Mm-hmm.
it works and it's a gimmick, and it relies heavy on that to continue to create successful images.
Mm-hmm.
The images that it does produce can be can far exceed the talent of the original artist that's producing it. It's very interesting how an artist can take their approach of their own work, feed it to this thing, and it spits out something that this artist cannot do
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
so like maybe could have, but it what it does is it injects vision, like an
Yeah.
artistic vision that if you don't have that vision as an artist and the AI produces it for you, I feel like okay, it's a sham. You're shamming yourself. You're kidding yourself and you're kidding everybody else when you create something through the AI that you couldn't do on your own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
it's not just like okay, I'm boosting contrast and highlights like in Photoshop,
Absolutely.
or I'm creating a layer mask and removing color, like all those kind of
You're also
things.
you're also composing, like if you're using Photoshop or something like that, you're actually composing something. So you are being the brain behind putting it together, whether you're
Yeah,
cutting out images and
yeah, and
and you're
there's a
building
lot of
it. And
and there's a lot of tools in Photoshop, like the neural filters that you can use that relies on the algorithm, the computer being able to do things
I
that.
wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, if you look in the filters, you pull down the neural filters and you look under the neural filters. So it's just more. There's a lot of stuff in beta they're still
Mm-hmm.
doing
Mm-hmm.
experimental stuff, but there's some cool shit going on
Yeah.
that you could say, well, you shot a color photograph, but you pulled all the color out in Photoshop. But it's like
Mm-hmm.
compared to, oh, I took one of my images, I fed it to the computer, and it made a better painting for me.
Yeah.
But it's still not. It's still not a product of an individual's imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And that's my fear. So my fear about it, if I have one, would be that people start being less creative if they start depending on this type of thing all the time.
oh yeah, I mean,
And
if anybody who depends on it all the time
well,
is
of course,
sacrificing creativity. You might
yeah,
as well it's like take off your shirt, your shoes, your pants. You don't need that here because the computer's doing everything for you. You don't need
yeah,
any of your own individual style or content. You are just a, a hollow shell, and the computer is taking over everything.
mm-hmm.
And then you could do whatever you could sell work and be like, oh, look at me, I got a swimming pool and a Tesla, and I'm an artist. You can have the crown, you can have the title, you can have all that shit. You're still, for what it's worth, at the end of the day, a fucking hack. And
Yeah,
that seems to be what you see it all over. You see it in music, you see it in sports, you see it in politics. People just, find almost a pre-programmed, conveyor belt of ideas and thoughts and blah blah blah, but it's eaten up by the public, so it's considered good, or
yeah. So then
considered
let's
successful.
keep mass producing this
Yeah,
type
and
of
they
thing.
just
Yeah, yeah.
popping out all this garbage. For me, it's like compared to a dinner that you would make in a fine dining kitchen or a microwave. And
Mm-hmm.
AI art is microwavable food for me. It's like it's instant, it's edible, it's ready to go, and you didn't have to fucking do anything.
Yeah.
But it's fucking garbage, and you keep eating that all the time, you're gonna become a piece of shit. because you are what you eat, and you just keep putting this out. So fine.
And you would say it's garbage because it lacks any sense of creativity other than typing in words to
Well,
build.
in the conversation of like, I'm not saying that the art that it creates is garbage because it can create really good work, but I think in the conversation of saying, okay, compared, if you want to compare to the kind of art or artists that I believe in, that I have, a strong connection to or belief or faith or whatever, because art is my religion to make things understandable for people who don't know what it is to be an artist, or how I feel about it. It's a fucking religion. I have faith in it. I believe in it. I pray to my work every day in the fucking temple of my studio. And the kind of, the deities that come out of this shit from the AI, I don't believe in them. I think that they're shams. I think that they're phonies. And it's just a tool, but it's like, a lot of people quickly will jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, that's why I feel
like,
because of the lack of creativity that goes into it, because there is no really creativity other than putting in words to build a painting or whatever it is that you're building.
Botox. You're taking your naturally formed face and you're injecting it with fucking Botox, and you're making it look like what everybody wants to look at or what you think people want to look at based on a cultural shift. And the cultural shifts are happening so fast and here and there, and getting so relying on like self-driving cars or trips to Mars or all this like iPhone 11.9333, the next thing, like always like pushing without like finish what's on your plate before you order the next thing. AI created art is just another thing, and unfortunately this kind of stuff pushes its way into the underground sort of demographic environment, the artist, the creative field. And it does the same thing as everything else, like Monsanto does to food, AI does to art. It just creates a phony, easily produced, and do it at home.
Well, this is so this makes me think about the NFT thing, and I don't know what that market's doing now, if it's still like as crazy as it was or whatever else, but we are obviously building a digital world, right? And we've been building it for a long time now, and it's happening extremely fast, right? And which goes to be, eventually, are we going to be living in this simulate? I'm not talking about the Matrix shit. No. But just that we're living in the metaverse, right? Or that we will be eventually. So then, is there a lack? Do we get to a point where we lack the not originality, but the actual unique idea of having a physical piece? You know what I mean? Because we spend so much time in the metaverse that I just want this digital image hanging on my digital apartment, or
and you'll only see it when you're a fucking when you become like a, what do you call the fucking,
well, no, you just put
an avatar. You put the goggles on.
Exactly.
Walks around your apartment looking at your art. That's stupid.
Well, I know.
You know what? That's fine. That's fine because you know what? I don't see much difference of somebody living now in their stupid apartment with a Pottery Barn poster that they got, or IKEA, artwork of a abstract triangle that looks good with their couch. There's not much difference for me than putting on the goggles and having an.
But then, is there much difference than having like a Monet poster hanging on your wall? Because you can't afford the original?
No. It really, for me, it doesn't make that much of a difference already. Like, you can get a poster of a Monet, and I mean, if somebody's going to take a poster of Monet and make it their centerpiece in their house, then that's their prerogative. But it's still like, it's not anything compared to an original painting
of course of
any artist. And so, and there's always going to be, the majority demographic of people don't care what art is hanging in their house as long as it matches the couch, right? And it makes sense, right? Yeah. So I don't feel like there's going to be a major disturbance from my perspective, if I am still alive in the next 50, 100 years.
I don't think in our lifetime, but I do.
I don't care.
I do think about it in the sense of, like, I was going to say I fear it, but I don't really fear it. I wonder, another 80 years from now, another 100 years from now, another 200 years from now, if this Earth is still here, or if humankind is still, inhabiting this earth, that will it will it be this kind
Well,
of
I'll tell you, man,
digital?
if we're going the direction we're wondering if humans are going to still be here, if anything, it's going to definitely go back towards making,
That's
taking
true.
cave
Yeah,
paintings,
exactly, exactly.
so we are going to head right back to where we started and reboot. Or, if I personally, I don't care. What happens, when I'm gone, it's frankly not my concern.
Sure.
My concern is like what's going on here and now and how to enhance, protect, and evolve.
Yeah.
You know,
I brought it up for the idea of the relevant, like of course I know our feelings about this, but I'm just thinking in a broad, and I'm playing devil's advocate too, but in a broader way of like, what's the will there be a relevance to having physical art in the future? You know what I mean? You know,
yeah. I mean,
I
as
don't
much
know.
as there is now, there is not a huge relevance to it right now either. Like
True.
what are people collecting? Sneakers and toys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what the majority of like young, hip, culturally interesting people, like people who are interested in what's going on in culture. They that they don't have the frame Monet, they have the frame Banksy or some other you
Mm-hmm.
know, something that looks like it was created on the street, with some street art type stuff. So the idea of collecting paintings, is not been part of our cultural sort of behavior for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see that we'd be losing anything in the
Yeah.
future, like it's going to get all of a sudden worse or anything. But there's still a huge demographic of people that love and continue to collect physical artwork.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's under any threat. Look the NFT. I haven't been following so closely what's going on with that, but it surely has gotten quiet
Yeah, it seems like it
compared
too.
to
Yeah,
how
I haven't really
all
followed
the
it either.
people like losing their shit about NFTs in the beginning and creating all these digital things, and then you start hearing how these collectors like, I really want to look at my paintings up on the wall. It's like, well, why don't you put a painting that goes on the wall, not a digital thing. It's gimmicky shit, just like the AI stuff. Even though a gimmick can be dangerous to a cultural movement like a painting or whatever, because it's
Mm-hmm.
going to do damage, because the real hardworking honest artists who are like, but busting their balls to create physical work that has substance, that is relevant to something about their life and their life journey and their communication with other people and artists. Here comes this machine that's like, here, I can do what you do and I can make it look more finished. I can make your work look more resolved
Sure. Yeah.
and intricate and detailed, and I can make you look like you have talent, which is like
Mm-hmm.
auto tune. I mean, it's not much of a difference what happened with everything that people create. They cheat, people want to fucking jump from step 1 to 40 right away. These young pop stars who, like, they need to quickly, rise to fame. It has to be fame. You have to see me with cars and girls and planes, and I'm on the beach and I'm rich and I don't have to, work a shit job like all you other dumb schmoes that had to go to school and work and build yourself up. Look at me, it's like this cheat sheet,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and like get applauded for it, like a standing ovation for somebody who like ripped who repeated what somebody wrote for them that was ripped off from somebody else, run through a processor to make you sound like you have talent, and there you're selling tickets by the millions. And it happens, and people get rewarded for it. That kind of behavior gets encouraged, and it bleeds into every cultural behavior. Like now AI art for me is that same shit. It's like, give any dumb fuck a ticket to the show. Welcome to fucking, I've been doing this for like 30 years. Who gives a shit? Here comes a 12-year-old and she's richer than me and has a museum show and blah, 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 blah. For whatever, all the wrong
Yeah.
reasons to me. Like all the
Yeah.
wrong reasons, whether it's because people are like panicking about like, oh, being PC. It's like, oh, we better give this, this young female indigenous to like, for whatever reason. And I'm not trying to pick on any particular demographic because everybody should fucking do it, but I'm talking about people who are cheating by using technology to seem like they're an accomplished visionary.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Vision is gone. There's no vision.
That's
To
see
me,
that's the
that
thing
is what's
is yeah,
interesting.
that's the most damaging part about it is it's also too, I think, you know, for somebody who's developing young on, if they want to be a visual artist, it's completely damaging, or it has the ability to damage the brain creativity wise, because you were not discovering, you were not learning along the way, you're not imagining on your own. The most important part of being an artist is imagination, you know, having ideas, you know, bringing things from nothing into reality, and that and
Yeah, unless you're a fucking cheap Las Vegas magician who's like just trying to impress people by some sleight of hand,
yeah.
and you're not learning anything from that too. Like you
Well,
say,
that's not being an artist though. That's just, you
no,
know.
it's being a performer. You're being a fucking like a juggling act. It's like a sideshow circus act, like the two-headed woman, or the half man, half whale. But none of those things were real. They were all things to make you believe something. No, it was just somebody who had like a hair like alopecia, or they had
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it was all
wolf
natural
boy,
stuff, or
whatever.
the penguin guy, he's just had a birth defect,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's all just trickery. It's all circus sideshow shit. And it stunts your growth, and it makes people believe that they have talent. Then you create narcissists, or then you create people who are they're defensive about their own talents, because every artist who's good or bad, we feel insecurities. Imagine
mm-hmm.
you like spend 10 years creating this successful career based on a fucking lie, and you know the lie, but you deny it and deny it until one day you're mature enough to understand it's like you can't live in denial,
or never, you know what I mean,
or never, and become
yeah.
a piece of shit, and then you're surrounded by other narcissists, or nobody wants to hang out with you because you're a fucking phony anyway. And nobody wants to hear it. It's like, yeah, great, pull the plug, okay, make me a painting, do something, do anything interesting, cook me an omelet. Can you do anything? Can you fucking do anything?
Yeah.
If not, fine. Don't fucking do anything and be fine. You're still a good person, but don't go around with a flag. Look at me. I'm an artist. Or I'm good. And well, blah, blah. No, you're a fucking fraud. You're a fucking fraud. So fuck off. Get the fuck out of my get off my boat. Go to your own stupid shit. And it's like, okay,
I missed this.
Look at us artists, right, guys? With their arm. Hey, right, guys, here we are. I'm like, get the fuck away from me, you 18-year-old upstart piece of shit. Go wipe your ass, man. Learn how to fucking do anything.
Yeah.
And then let's talk, And I'm all for having more and more resources to help to be creative. But when, we have these things that are like spewing it out. I mean, what's the difference between taking a bunch of steroids and going to play sports or all this kind of like, just
yeah.
The triathlon, race. I'm going to do my triathlon, but I'm going to be on a Kawasaki. It's like, you can't take the motorcycle. This is a running race.
Yeah.
Yes, you won. Yes, you're better than everyone else, but you're on a fucking motorcycle. You fucking cheat. There are people who've been training for years to run this marathon, and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to take the old Hummer, and I'll see you at the finish line, and I win. Yeah, and I'm surrounded by other lick spittles.
I've run over a bunch of people.
It's like, and these people are always surrounded by lick spittles and yes men and being like, yeah, you're good, because they want to like suck on a little of those dollars and I want a taste of that fame. Oh, look at me, click clack, click clack, click clack, click clack. Fuck you, fuck you. Fucking new trend, jumping off cliffs. It's good, do it, good, go for it, please.
I feel like you don't weigh on the positive side of the AI.
No, not on that. It's productive. It's a fucking. It's like those. I don't know, man. It's stupid shit. It's like a wristwatch that plays music. Like
yeah.
Oh, it also plays songs. Cool. It's a neat gimmick. It's a good tool. It's an interesting concept, but it's not progress. What I see, like it's not progress for the creative field. Like, with something, this is what we've been waiting for to be able to create art. Now art is dead because the computer's going to do it.
Like I feel Photoshop, digitally was definitely progress, which that was kind of shitted on even by me when I was younger. I was like,
sure.
fuck Photoshop. Anybody who has Photoshop can make art, and that's not the truth,
No, it's not. It's not. It's definitely a skill that you have to learn how to use it. And I've been, for decades putting off the digital format. I only recently started doing digital
printing,
a darkroom because of, it's just
chemicals and
has to be
else.
done.
Yeah.
It has to, the other stuff is hard to do, and the
much more affordable and health-wise much better for you.
It's not really much more affordable.
That's true when you think about the ink and the paper and everything else,
and the machine, the printer, and the computer, and the updates, and the new computer, and the new printer. It balances out pretty quickly, but it it does eliminate the exposure to chemicals, and you can mass produce close to the same exact prints. It's got a lot of pros and cons. Anyway, it's not the same as make my painting. I don't want Photoshop to make my painting. I want it to make it easier to take images and clean off some dust and maybe pop some contrast. It's what I would be doing in the darkroom anyway, but it's doing it better and faster. That's sure, but not like it's changing it. Like, it's not like I'll take your pictures and I'll do everything.
Exactly. I mean, you're still shooting the image. You're still bringing it over. You're the one that's doing curve,
everything
using
that's
curve
coming,
and brightness and contrast and all that stuff like that, and you're color correcting all that stuff. So everything is being done by you, even though it might be digitally
all the steps
format, but
and all the steps that lead up to that that help in our lives that inspire the images that we wind up creating is part of that process. Whereas you leave it up to AI to pull that shit for you. It's gonna be like, here's your dreamy, landscape, and we'll put some moon and star. Like it's like no, but you might as well just like put on a movie, somebody else made and watch it and enjoy it and be like, that's really good. It's like, I'm gonna watch, Jurassic Park. I made this movie by watching it. It's like, no, you didn't make that movie. You're just watching the movie. It's the same thing. It's like, I'm gonna put this images. Look at this image I made. No, something else did all that kind of like creative stuff that people could be like, oh, wow, you're really talented. I really love the way you think. Oh, can you tell me what, the story behind this, or what does this mean to you? What are you walking away with from that piece? What part of your life, your dreams, your unconscious is in there that when you look at that, be like, this is a product of my unconscious or my conscious thought and talent and skills and things I've learned over the decades. Like, so for me,
it'd be interesting to have somebody talk about their AI art, their influence and how they got there.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be somebody who can hack a system or hack a technique to make it their own. I think there's people clever enough, or the people that are just like really enjoy doing that. Like, let's take some technology and make my whole career about that thing. And that's fine. I think there'll be a handful of artists that will be like successful at that, but the majority are just like using this tool, and you wind up, it's like being online for the fucking ride at Great Adventure or Disneyland. You're all going on the same stupid fucking ride. You're both all going to go like this at the same time. You're all going to wind up seeing the same things and winding up at the same place at the end. And that's it. You're all, and it's, so what? You're just fucking, you're fucking on a roller coaster. That's it. That somebody else created this feeling for you, created the because they put the hill all the way up here. You didn't build that roller coaster. You didn't create those curves that are going to make you go No, somebody anticipated all that stuff, so your experience has been created for you already. And you're like, come off that thing feeling like, wow, what a ride. And the one behind you is going to come back and be like, wow, what a ride. And the guy's going to come behind you and be like, wow, you're all the same fucking piece of shit doing the same fucking thing that somebody else set up for you. It's so,
what's interesting too with one of the companies, I don't want to say what their name is because I don't want to promote any whatever, but one of the AI, and I'm sure the other one, I think there's only my knowledge is two of them. There might be more, I'm sure there probably is, but one of the bigger ones, if you sell your NFT with they get a percentage
Yeah, of course.
of the
That's all the whole thing. All these companies are going to pop out of the woodwork because they're not like, oh, let's create art with that. No, like, let's fucking let's
yeah
suck some more dicks. They take their money and like, oh man, oh, we can make money here too. Oh look, everybody's doing it. Let's like, and people are going to be like, oh, let's make art. We're all making art. We're all artists now. Let's all hold hands and we're artists. It's like, no, get the fuck out of here. You're
yeah
not. You're
yeah
not. You're a bunch of fucking kids at a football game going, rah, 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 go, go, go. The same sheeple mentality of like, of a trend that's going to lose steam anyway, and good riddance to it when it's done. And
yeah
everyone's sick of having the same looking thing on their wall. It's like, oh, wow, I have this beautiful thing on my wall. Oh, I did this. Oh, I did this painting myself. And then you're going to go across the other side of the world and visit somebody in their house and they did theirs. And it looks so much like yours.
yeah yeah
And it's like, oh, you are a hack as well. You're just a hack. Welcome to the hack back. You're a bunch of fucking pussies. Why don't you become the greatest rock and roller ever now? Look at me now, I'm Jimi Hendrix. I make music with a fucking garage band. I don't know how to play guitar, bass, and half as good as anything, but I'm able to make music that sounds good. But I'm not like, oh man, my band. Oh, man,
yeah
I'm as good as you, Led Zeppelin. It's like, no, you're just using a tool to make it easy so you could do something that you can't normally do with the real thing.
I disagree. I mean, I think that takes
I
think it takes a big part of creativity
and
that. I mean, granted, yeah, you could just get on there, whether it's your iPad you're using or your desktop or whatever.
Yeah.
But
and you could be a DJ all of a sudden. Everybody could
be
sure. Some loops and be like, wow, listen how this loop blends. It's great. All I have to do is hit this and push this. That's what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
But I'm also not gonna like put my music up on a pedestal that it's like if you hand me a guitar, I won't be able to play it the same way.
Yeah.
Or you hand me any other instrument, and
sure. I mean, everything that I write, I pretty much there's a couple songs that I probably could replay on the guitar and stuff like that, but a lot of it, it's just like. It's late one night, feeling good,
but
lying down shit, and then I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I did that night before, but it sounds good.
And it's a bad example because making music actually does take a lot of time and skill, and you do have to put your head into it. You got to think about what's next, what's coming, what sounds right, what harmonizes. With the AI stuff, it's like. It's like playing that, hook game with the put your quarter in and you see the thing and you get the stuff down.
Did you ever hear the Hendrix, and I think there's like a Nirvana song as well where it's AI and they make new music from these bands. And
they take like
it's fucking crazy. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
it
sounds like a Hendrix song,
And it's fucking unnecessary. Too. Like, really, you're missing the fucking.
But that's
point.
Where I think but that's where I get fucking like, is that what music's going to become too?
No, who cares?
No shit. I mean, the end of the day, it doesn't affect you and me. You know what I mean?
We're like, who they're interviewing about their stupid musics now all the time anyway. It's all garbage, and artists are so like full of themselves or like have this idea of being such grandiose geniuses or like, oh, I'm Lady Gaga. How could you even think about why I'm not beautiful? Is that what you think about? Is that what's important? Meanwhile, it's like, shut up, you fucking hypocrite. Why are you wearing all this fucking shit all the time if you're not like trying to be grandiose and gorgeous and all this kind of stuff? Yeah, you have a dog face, but that's what you're born with, and that's just. But that's. You're still a fucking hypocrite if you're saying that's not what it's about. Because
he's not a fan of Lady Gaga.
No, she's full of shit. Another fucking like scumbag downtown Lower East Side fucking phony hack. Who was like sucking up all the culture down there with cocaine riddled friends and being like, the fucking drag queens love me, and then all of a sudden I can make pop music, and then like, oh, now I'm an actor. So fucking affected. Oh, so much. She's just a walking affectation, like if Madonna's fucking tit fell off and started walking around like fucking Lady Gaga. And frankly,
Madonna. Would it be a right or a left?
And yeah, music is probably going to, like, if they do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So the world is like you're walking around the inside of an elevator. Everything's like elevator music. It's like a version of a version of a version of a version of a fucking version created by no one. It's like it's nothing for no one. It's no one's paying attention anyway. Everyone's got their head so far up their ass, like be like, you know. So who gives a fuck what kind of music they're making in 50 years?
Yeah.
You know, I care more about like what I'm ingesting and what I'm taking in and paying attention to. Yes, I'm obviously frustrated by the stuff that goes on around and how culture is sucked up and chewed up and copied and re-thrown back out and as if it's somebody else's own original idea, but it's like so blatantly, referential constantly. And I came up with the term a long time ago, which I'm pretty psyched about, is contemporary referentialism. And I think that is a huge, I don't know, maybe, let's say with the early aughts, 2000 on.
Reference.
Okay, so if you reference something, it's like as if, it looks like something else. People always like referencing type of music or art. And so I think a great, one of the strongest movements in art right now, or most successful, not strong as in good, but the majority is contemporary referentialism, where things look like, and you see all these abstract painters out there, they're all doing these like abstract, because it looks good on TikTok. If you just go, and wah, and triangle and red and take it, spin it around and blob. And it's like, okay, first of all, it's like, it's so fucking redundant. It's so like, okay, 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Yeah, I've been doing this, just because it looks good on the new venue, TikTok or computer, so, and it can be done really quickly and spontaneously and be like, wow, that would look great with my, brown couch with my ombre curtains. Oh, and let me make sure I'm wearing really tight clothes. Oh, it has nothing to do with anything but my talent, I swear. Oh, nothing but my talent. Oh, I swear. Oh, my painting happens to be right next to my butt for some reason. Like, fuck you. Bullshit artists, man.
Yeah, there are quite a few of them.
Yeah, and they're all over the fucking every fucking single one of the accounts. It's like, artist studios. And you click through it, it's always just like some guy who's like perfectly dressed with his clean hair, giant paintings of a splatter. Be like, yeah, of course it's big, it's impressive, but it's garbage. It's like redundant. It's regurgitated.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like, what's the thing they say, like fancy sports cars, guys with small dicks or something.
Yeah,
so it's like giant canvases.
Yeah, the size of their talent, is really actually. Yeah.
Just because it's big doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah. But or it's like some like very attractive person sitting in their studio, like, oh, it's, and look at my pants matched the painting. You're just a fucking your product.
Well, I mean that's also a part of like
brand.
The same thing of back when you got like Hit Parader or these music magazines and stuff like that, where people are also selling an image as well as that they're trying to sell the art.
Brand. It's a brand.
Yeah,
everybody has gone on the brand wagon so fucking hard that because they think that's what it is to be what. Yeah. To be.
Well, like we talked about the other night on FaceTime, we were talking about that whole idea of where people get fucked up on drugs because they think that this is the lifestyle of what it means to be an artist.
You're mirroring somebody else's like experience because they went along.
They did it, so that means that if I drink myself to almost death or start booting up or whatever, exactly.
It's okay that I like fucking I'm misogynistic and alcoholic. Look at Bukowski.
Yeah.
It's like, but that was Bukowski, and he was kind of a piece of shit.
Shit.
Yeah, his writing was
Yeah.
I love his books, and I've read nearly his entire fucking catalog. But
But
we
separating
don't
the
need
art from
another
the
fucking
artist.
Bukowski.
Exactly.
You want to sit in a room full of Bukowskis? That place would smell terrible and be like full of syphilis. You don't fucking need that shit all over the place. And it's somebody else's gig, man. It was somebody else's journey. It was somebody else did that, and he wasn't the first at that either, man. I'm sure, there are plenty of brilliant, Tennessee Williams. I mean, come on. But it's impossible to not reference, and I'm not saying referencing other art is a fucking problem, because I do it.
Sure.
My work has a lot of reference to it, but it's not that's not the fucking
you can't make art. I feel you cannot make art without being inspired by something else. So everything that you do, is obviously going to be referenced.
And we're connected.
Hopefully,
connected.
Hopefully, as you mature and you get older, those references become to be your own in the work, and you begin to lose the obvious parts of it in the beginning.
Yeah, you can give a fucking a chicken to 5 different chefs and have like 5 different completely wonderful, amazing dishes from the same ingredient, but you all go back to like, well, you used chicken. Yeah, sure, but it's like this. Mm-hmm. And unless, of course, you're fucking hacking and you're just getting chicken nuggets every fucking time, and that's what the majority of this kind of like hackery is producing. Fucking fast food. AI art is fucking fast food. It's like you don't have the fucking time or the skill or the care to do what you're actually producing. It's garbage. Enjoy it for a few years. Enjoy it for 10 years. You're gonna have colon cancer. It's like it's garbage. You're gonna have cultural fucking cancer on your hands, and I don't know what you're gonna do after that, because once things like that become the norm, then it's just all over the place. And it's not like it's going to wipe out all good artists or original artists. Original artists are always going to be, out and about. As long as human beings are around, we're going to have physical paintings. We're going to have physical sculptures and art and original work and ideas, because there will always be people like you and me
that want to create
or pissed off work too, and a response to it. I'm already creating art, but I'm going to continue to make more in response to that. I'm not getting on that fucking shit. No, I'm not interested. Maybe even one day I'll try it out, but for me, I'm as interested in going to the site to try it out as I am like when you go to visit some landmark and they have those things where you stick your face in and it's like, look, I'm a mermaid and you're a fisherman. It's like, I'll go and do it, when I'm there, but I'm not like gonna make the effort. Oh, I'm going here to do that. Fuck it. If I come across it, we'll do it. Like the one we did with in Cannes where we're like Brad Pitt and fucking George Clooney. I don't know where I need a copy of that fucking picture. I think Prella has that.
Prella has them, yeah. I think
you gotta get it. That's one. Actually, maybe we could use it for this episode if you could find it.
Definitely.
But for me, that's what AI art is. It's a gimmick. It's fun and funny, but I don't want to do it unless I happen to be like the circus is in town. I happen to be there. I'm not going to make the fucking journey for it because. To me, it's
I think it could be a great tool. I think it'd be a great tool to get yourself out of maybe a block or something else like that. But the deal is I believe that and I'm the same. I haven't fucked with it yet, and I don't really intend to, but maybe at some point I will. But it's because I like my shit coming from here, here. I want my stuff coming from the heart and mind, and that, and
I want the experience to be real.
Yeah, because then it's that's mine. I thought of that, and that, but yeah, it's just like I just think it's detrimental, if that's the right word. Detrimental.
Detrimental.
I don't know.
Bad.
Yeah, bad to like people that are just starting to want to get into creating, and it's like giving
Adderall to teenagers.
They just put a brick wall up in front of them because it's just I'm just gonna let this shit create my thoughts for me.
It's a false sense of accomplishment when it comes to, when the good art comes out. To giving teenagers Adderall to be alert and get the homework done. You know, it's actually just damaging. You think that you're focused, you think you're smart, you think you're alert. You're actually just like you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and the experience itself is like it's a phoned in experience. It's like you can hang out and fuck your pocket pussy all the time, or you can just make love to another human being.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every once in a while it's okay. You know, play with your pocket pussy and enjoy that. But thing is, nothing beats the real thing, and nothing can compare to it, and nothing will really overtake it. It might in masses because the masses are asses. Look how people are behaving all over the world, encouraging fascist behavior and all that, when we all know that it's wrong and bad. But large groups of people like eat it up, and it becomes what seems normal.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you a question, but you probably already covered it all. But I was going to but it just makes me think of the idea, like, why is that first reaction when you do find out what it is that you get like upset about it, but yet at the same time it doesn't affect you or me? You know what I mean? Because it's something that
because you think of how long and hard you worked to get to a point where you can create something that you feel is like, wow, that is an accomplished piece of work. Or like you spend hours and years perfecting a fucking recipe of something, and it's like and something comes along and just shits it out. Because we're affected by that constantly, of like things that get praised and celebrated that is fucking bullshit. But it still continues to get praise and celebration and sponsorship and paid, and then that those fuckers don't have to work half as hard as you ever have to work, and all they did was phone it in. Some people are willing to really get on their knees and suck the devil's dick and be like, oh, now I don't have to be an honest whole person, because I don't care. I just want a fridge full of bottled water and Botox in my ass and face to make me look plump and ready for fucking or whatever. I mean, because that's what it is, right? You're making yourself look ready for fucking. What are you doing it? I
don't know about that. I mean, I think it's also
it's ready for fucking. Everybody wants to fuck. Why do you want to look good? Why do people like to look good so you can?
Some people want to look good for their own confidence, and that it doesn't necessarily mean that they're fucking throwing themselves out in the market, like they're doing it just to put themselves out in the market.
Listen, we're no matter what, we're still just human beings, and we're built for it. We're hardwired for procreation, and just like the birds who do their funny little dances, to attract, that's what we do.
No,
as human beings, we peacock and we get dressed up. Why do we want to look nice? So we're celebrated, have money thrown at us, either want to get fucked or want people to want to fuck us, and that's it. Because it's the highest, praise of like, wow, I would love to be close with you. I'd love to be intimate with you. I'd like to get to know you on an intimate level. Call it making love if it needs to be sweeter and nicer. But it's just fucking. It's just fucking. Well, why do you think you accentuate these parts that we're attracted to? Well, it's the ass by coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's because people love asses. They want to chew on them and fuck them. It's true.
They want to chew on them.
Anyway. moving right along.
I love it.
And like I say, good for you. More power to you, doing your thing. I'm not trying to change the world or the world's opinions, anybody else's real opinions. I like sharing mine because that's how I feel about stuff. And my opinion can be changed and sways, and certain things I'm fucking staunch. I'm like, this is how I feel about it. Other things I'm like open. And the AI thing, it's such a new thing in my head. So I'm open right now. But I'm starting off with a pretty clear, foot in the camp of like, it's bullshit. As far as like creating art, like, oh, art is dead. And here's the new creator of art, because art is like, first of all, such a broad thing. You could create digital imagery. Great. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, now pull out the plug. Now what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Show me what you could do now, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Okay?
here's some
And
paints,
then,
here's some pencils.
yeah, and then I'll eat my hat, and then I'll eat my words, and then I'll be convinced, and then I'll be a fucking believer, and my faith will go into to your fucking religion of type of what art is. In the meantime, fucking sorry, man. You can put me on a desert island, and I'll still make fucking art out of coconuts and sand. I will find a way to make something that is deeper than you know, any of these fuckers puddles that they're putting out with this AI generated tongue-in-cheek gimmick. It's like,
well, of course, I mean, there's no.
Oh, your mom
no,
is impressed. Oh, they are such a good boy.
There's no truth behind it. Like there's no feeling. There's no truth. There's no anything behind it.
Food. It's heavily processed food.
It's not even processed. I think it's
baloney.
It's less than that.
It's literally.
You know what I mean?
It's figuratively and literally baloney.
Yeah.
It's highly processed. It's bad for you. It tastes good.
Bologna's delicious.
Everybody loves it. Not everybody, but like you can get a lot of people to like it pretty quickly, but it's fucking garbage. Yeah. It's really garbage.
Yeah.
So
like a hot dog.
And it's dangerous, man. It's a dangerous tool for not like danger like, oh, look out, falling rocks. It's more like, oh, look out. There goes any chance of you coming up with any creative solutions to making something that is, you know, progress. Mm-hmm. Like, where are you going to go from here now? You're going to make more of these swirly pictures generated by, you know, using other people's fucking ideas of what art is. Mm-hmm. You learn nothing. You're learning nothing. You might as well fall asleep in class, and it's you're not benefiting from that. Yeah. You're not learning anything.
Well, the wild thing. Do you know how it works?
Explain to me, because I know.
So basically, there'll be there'll be like a search bar on the bottom of the screen. Well, at least with this one program that I was checking out,
right?
Or on I was watching videos online about it, and that people's like, you know, reviews and stuff like that. But anyways, so there'll be a search bar, and basically like it'll be like, okay, woman ascending staircase. I don't know if you put commas.
I already
feel
like you're ripping me off.
Yeah, with ladders.
Oh God.
In the style of David Hochbaum.
Sure. With
ships, and then it will find David Hochbaum online, all of his images, and then it'll put it in the style of your work. Great. But then it will end up, you know, directly doing what it's been told, and then it will give you 4 different results.
Yeah, but my question is, can you have sex with it?
Well, I mean,
then it's useless to me, and it's nothing that I can benefit unless
I don't know. You can print it out and put a hole in it or something. One of these robots
that you can have sex with, fine. That's great. That's very interesting.
Yeah. No, so I'm just saying. So like the part of it is even just in the style of it. It's like in the style of Rembrandt, and then it will make a Rembrandt looking painting, and it's
the automat, man. It's like those 1950s automats where you get a sandwich out of the wall. Oh my God, look at this, a sandwich.
Yeah.
I showed up. Look, a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's already. That's amazing.
Yeah. So the only creative part about it is the wording. That's it. You know.
Well, luckily most people have trouble spelling Hochbaum. I don't know. I honestly, it's like going to the top of the Empire State Building and say, oh, that was neat, and then you put the quarter in, you see the city from up here, and then you go down. It's over.
Oh, I don't even think it's like that. I mean, I think
it's a gimmick.
That's amazing, though. I could be standing on top of the, you know.
But you can be amazed by what this computer does, and it's just amazement, and it's just a short-lived look what this.
But I'm just saying that the Empire State Building is an actual physical experience versus something like this. There's nothing about it that's physical.
It was a bad.
Yeah.
I'm not doing so well. Maybe if I
you're doing great.
Drugs, I'll get a little more imaginative. But, you know, I haven't taken any drugs today, so I'm like really just like very bland and boring.
I don't think so. I think it's been highly entertaining.
Glad you're enjoying yourself. I'm so mad at computers.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't care.
That's the thing.
Like,
that's why I brought up that question to you, which, you know, we've already talked about, but that idea of like, why does it why do you have that first feeling? And granted, it's like, yeah, because you've been working your whole life at this one thing, and then you see other people that are just doing it like that, and they got all these whatever followers and all this other shit like that. But
it's invasive
because it's not. It doesn't
invasive.
affect us, you know.
It affects us on the level of our vocation, our decision. We're artists, you know. So this is something, our identity, part of our identity that we hold on to dearly, and it just opens the door for any Joe Schmo, you know, plumber's crack looking motherfucker on the street, crackhead, to be as accomplished as we are as artists.
Yeah.
And then could be recognized in a room where nobody sees who made it, and be like, "Oh, this person's a great artist." It's
yeah,
like,
but who gives a shit though? Who
like,
cares? Who cares?
Well, I mean, the feeling that we feel from that is that fuck, you know, great.
Yeah.
Somebody, some other asshole left the door open, and now there's another fucking drove of zombies coming in and be like, I'm also an artist. I'm also an artist for a week, and it's like these festivals, these Coachellas where all these shitheads put on like robes and sparkly things. It's like, oh, look, I'm free spirit today. Oh, today I'm free spirit, and then they leave and the field is full of garbage. It's they all showed up. They all listened to Dinosaur Jr. just like me. And now the place looks like it's been fucking wrecked because they actually don't give a fuck about any of the substance that built up to the moment where the thing was created, where it came from. The soul of it has been trampled, then ignored.
Garbage.
And it's just the flesh of it's like wearing a fur coat. Ooh, it's so beautiful and soft, but there's like a, you know, eviscerated fox on the floor right next to it. It's like you give a shit about the soul of the animal that created this thing. No, you're just like, oh, the shell. Oh, the shell. I did it. I look so, you know, exotic, and I look so wonderful and decadent. But it's like there's no soul to it, and it's also like short-lived. They're gonna throw it in the garbage afterwards. They have no use for it either. They're using it, but they have no fucking use for it. It's fucking it's squandering of it's a squandering of imagination, and that's a new kind of feeling because it's a new technology. It's not a normal thing. Like people squander physical
Well, it's like what you said earlier about the modern representational, or what did you call it earlier?
Contemporary referentialism.
Contemporary
trademark. David Hochbaum. Trademark. 2022.
I can't say that second fucking word, man. Referentialism.
Yeah.
Referentialism. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I was calling art that back in New York when, you know, looking at this sort of post, you know, California juxtaposed sort of like thing that happened where a lot of art was booming, and from that came a lot of followers, a lot of copycats, a lot of hacks, and you know, and a lot of that art that was being celebrated was really like very close reference to very contemporary art stuff that, you know, some of these artists aren't even dead, you know, or still like the bodies are still fucking warm and their art's being like ripped off.
Oh, some of them are very well alive,
and it's not even like being recognized and noted that this person's art looks a lot like suspiciously like this, but then you got a whole new generation of artists that they're copying the copycat, you know. And that's where I thought about contemporary referentialism, because it's like creating a whole new slew of artists that aren't even getting past that first stage of reference that they're taking art from, that is taken from something else. And it's not just like inspired. It is just copied straight out
from something else that's completely current at the time.
It's like tracing paper copy, you know. It's close enough that it's like, it's not just using the same colors, it's just like blatant. But it's not like I have still the same exact amount of faith of the direction the art's going as I did 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You know, personally, I don't give a fuck where it goes, because it's not, what's the fun in that? You know, first of all, knowing where it goes.
Well, that's corruption. That's corruption, anyways, of the mind to be focused on, you know, where art's headed, or am I a part of it, or this or that. It's like, that is the last thing that you want in the fucking studio. You know what I mean? Like
what are you focusing on? Keep your eyes on the fucking road. Get your head. It's like people who drive looking at their phones all the time. You know,
Yeah.
keep your fucking eyes on the road,
Yeah.
the vehicle that you're in control of, that you're responsible for as well. Not just in control, you're fucking responsible. So don't damage me on the road because you're not paying attention, and you're paying attention to the garbage that you think is important, which is just being fed to you from somebody else that's making money off of your fucking thoughts. And thought process. It's nothing to do with even free will. It's even further away from free will and free thinking, and it's just. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, why would you choose to go to prison voluntarily? Why would you go and go somewhere that is cold and dark and you have no control over your own thought process voluntarily? To do that, it's hard enough just to feel free in a society that is so in your face. I want to control everything you do. I want to control the way you think. I want to know what you're thinking so that I can then push you in this direction because my friends over here are going to make money because they pay me money. It's like, get your head out of your fucking ass, period. Get your head out of your ass. If you're thinking about using AI to create art, get your head out of your ass now. Wash your hair off. Get the stink off your fucking face of shit because it's garbage. Either that or knowingly walk around covered in shit and be like, I'm a shit face. Yeah, you're a fucking shit face, hack, copycat, uninteresting, unimaginative, unoriginal piece of garbage. Otherwise, don't fucking come around and say, I'm an artist too. It's like, what do you do? I'm an artist. Oh, I'm an artist too. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
no,
there's some people that are definitely using it as their form of art. But I think the most people that I see are people that are just experimenting with it and trying it out.
Yeah, it's a tool. That's all I've seen. And
I've seen a couple profiles of people that's all that they do, And
yeah, because it looks good on the internet.
Yeah.
You take me to one of these fucking artists' studios and you walk me through the studio and you see how quickly you're going to start yawning because here's another print that I made from this computer, digital image. Here's another one I made from this computer. It's like,
yeah.
What brand of toilet paper are you? Because that's all it is. It's like the same fucking thing, same brand again and again and again, and it's the same experience, the same texture, the same fucking thing. And even if you're making it different, you're fighting hard to make it look different every time. Really, that's where you're putting your energy to make the computer's art look different? Fucking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you wasting all this energy? You're making unnecessary trips. Fucking work smart. It's just unbelievable. Get your head out of your fucking ass. Because that's where it is, man. AI. And I'll wrestle any motherfucker. And by wrestle, I mean I'll put my art up against yours. And yeah, you're going to probably get thousands more people being like, oh, like. You'll get more likes than me. You'll get more instant likes. But let's spend a week together, right? And see how fucking interesting your shit is after a week.
Yeah.
Right? How deep does your shit go compared to what the fuck I've been up to? Okay? I'll tell you what. No contest. I don't want to hurt some poor little fucker out there whose feelings are going to be hurt because they're going to be completely torn apart with the fact that their work is just like some hacky ass shit.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
It's disappointing, It's disappointing that there are going to be people who will rely on this to be their thing, and they're gonna
that's where I
sell
feel
their fucking art, and fine if that's your goal and that's your intention.
That's where I feel it's unfortunate, of people relying on something like this to be their creativity output, where they're not having a physical hands-on experience. Even if you're using a tablet to create art, you're actually physically doing something.
They're fucking pocket pussies.
So, yeah.
That's all they are.
Yeah.
Fake shit. The end result is the same. They're jizzing all over the place, but it's a fucking pocket pussy.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's all it's going to be. Until you pick up a brush and make some fucking paintings, you print out half of it, you collage. There's ways to use it. I'm like you said, you do parts of it, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to use this in my painting, blah blah blah. But if all you're doing is like pumping out this sort of fucking this like, what's his fucking name, Mr. Wonderful or Mr. what? Who's that other shit ass fucking painter? It's like is like one of those Banksy guys.
Just Birdman or something. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think what the fuck
Dick or
whatever his name is.
It's like we like posters, like it's like Andy Warhol mixed with somebody spilled paint on the table, mixed with all this other like pop culture shit. It's like, and he's pumping him out, and sell, and I'm making 10. Like yeah, a bunch of fucking pocket pussies.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo. You and all your fault.
Well, I mean, that's also, then you then you deal with Jeff Koons, where it's like, that guy doesn't create anything.
Well, Jeff Koons is a businessman. Yeah, he's just that's that whole that ilk, that species of artists.
But he's basically got AI people in his studio. They're just other people that are creating these ideas for him.
Exactly. Yeah.
And building these things.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And that's what you had, but even with, I mean, I think Warhol was definitely physical. At least on camera he was.
Listen, man, Warhol has not been my favorite artist, but Warhol, you can't touch Warhol when it comes to like...
Well, he built
his journey,
that industry.
His fucking journey and creation of that type of art, that type of fucking approach to art. Like, he's the creator. You don't fuck with the creator.
Yeah.
For me, everybody else after that are just like these psycho prophets in Times Square standing on a fucking milk crate saying, the end is near. I'm also like a prophet.
Yeah.
It's like, no. The creator came, did the thing. You're just another fucking hack who likes to call, I'm this generation's Andy Warhol. No, get the fuck out of here. Don't call that artist that. He's just another hack that steals shit from here, there, and everywhere, and boom. Why? Because it mass produces? Okay.
I was just bringing up the idea of using Warhol in the sense of building kind of like a factory. You know what I mean? Building a place where just people were doing the work for him, printing, all this thing, all those type of things. I don't know how much hands-on he was. I mean, obviously in the beginning he was.
Did a lot, even the mass
in the documentaries he is, but that's because of cameras on him. So,
sure.
But
he was the first, man. He was
the
first.
Yeah, for sure.
He did it, and so I think that he.
And hey, I'm a Warhol fan, so I love Warhol.
I think he was a fucking genius. I don't really. Yeah. I'm not crazy about his work in certain stages.
I think about the work as in him and the just the overall of everything.
And his life and how he dealt with being an artist, being a homosexual, being like in this particular time, being the sense spotlight, how he handled fame, how he handled money, how he handled friendships, how he handled personal relationships, how he handled living in New York City and traveling. Like his journey is a unique and interesting tale.
Yeah, started off in doing illustration work and
it was a frustrated fucking commercial artist.
Yeah,
that became a darling to a society. How he fucking crept into like high society and made his work coveted and desired.
Yeah, being one of the very first celebrity kind of artists as well.
While being very much an outcast of society type of person. It wasn't very common for a homosexual to be that famous. It was shunned. And most of the like celebrity homosexuals at the time had to keep it in the closet.
Absolutely, yeah.
They
fake girlfriends and stuff like that.
Yeah, even Liberace wasn't like out.
Yeah,
but everybody knew that guy was gay. It was just like, but it was like the time period, and what was done in that time period is part of what makes for me Warhol the artist, the whole, and interesting and admirable. Where I see artists that just like copy a style or pick up on certain behaviors and business practice to make their brand. You're another brand. You're another toy toilet paper on the shelf that I choose from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same Blue Label, but you know what? Warhol's was more cottony and soft. Your your
Yeah,
toilet
well, there's a
paper,
completely
yeah,
different story behind
all
that
these
one
hats.
versus this one.
Yeah,
You know what I
you're,
mean?
you're gonna get
It's like,
shit on your hand with theirs.
yeah, yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
it's cheap
yeah.
knockoff, Chinatown knockoff shit. Anyway, I got nothing nice to say about anybody.
Well, you said a lot of nice stuff about Warhol.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
You did.
And that's
You
pretty,
did.
out of character for me because I'm not like a huge fan. Because I'm also very disappointed. I'm mad at him for what he did to create this sort of like, you know, celebrity mentality and this chase for fame and
Or
money,
yeah,
yeah, and success and
pop art.
the level of success based on like the amount of fame and money and all this kind of stuff, and it created a very competitive kind of bullshit culture,
Mhm.
as well. But that's what happens because there was no intention of his, I'm sure. He
Yeah,
just wanted to be what he was. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
boy.
Well,
You know, and there are times where I just wish I had a computer that would just do all this stuff, make all my frames and paintings and blah blah blah. Wouldn't that just be great? But that's always a fleeting thought.
I don't know.
Nothing
Yeah,
replaces.
I never have like as much of it's like building the frames and stuff like that, and it's like backbreaking work, and you wish you could obviously produce faster and everything. I love when it's finished because I know I did every part of that. I cut that panel,
Mm.
I primed that panel, I painted that fucking panel.
Yeah, I
I made
tried a
that
new
frame.
stain. I tried a new
Yeah, yeah.
gilding technique.
I also, by
You're
doing
learning.
this in my mess ups along the way, I know how to do the next one better,
Mhm.
so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's a
And
learning process,
it's
and it's
yeah,
it's a giving process. It's a gifting process. When you create work, you're learning spontaneous new things are coming out. Even the motions and the movements can then all of a sudden trigger a memory or a thought. It's all encompassing. It's all involved there at the moment, and if you're open to it, it's just going to shower you with riches of creativity.
exactly.
And
Well,
if you
everything
just
you
want to
do
be a
leads to
fucking
the next
pencil
thing.
pusher, yeah, you want to be a pencil pusher and fucking, you know, throw your stuff like a clerk or a fucking secretary at a desk and create your art that way. Fine, that's also fine. But you're a fucking hack. I'm sorry, you're a hack. You're a hack. You're the definition of a fucking
Mm-hmm.
hack, and that's it. Have fun, play in the fucking pool, but get the fuck out.
Yeah,
Because it's full of piss.
it's. I was thinking about the whole idea of like it's so there. It's like everything that you do, creative wise, leads to that next thing. You can't have that next painting or sculpture or whatever unless you had that one before it. It- that that momentum that moves from that past experience goes into that next thing, and it's that's beautiful a thing, because just
Yeah,
think about the whole, the mistakes you make,
yeah.
or the things you find along the way.
And that's what you'll be missing out if you don't utilize it. It's like,
Hmm.
what's the point? What's the point of like, driving up to this beautiful like place, going to this beautiful, gorgeous place,
Yeah,
if you're just gonna like stare at your phone the whole
yeah.
time, you know? You're
Like
not
if
gonna
somebody
absorb it.
if somebody pre-made me a wood frame, the exact same style that I make them in, right?
Yeah.
I would appreciate it less because then it would just be something that was done, and the man hours for myself wasn't put into it. So then, in the end of go leafing it, painting it, or doing whatever I do to it, there would be less of a connection with it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
your hands were not in there. Your
Yeah,
DNA, your creative DNA is not involved.
yeah,
And so of course you don't have the same kind of connection to it, you know?
yeah,
I mean, I would be the same way. I'd be grateful to have somebody like, it's like if I come up with an idea for a frame and I just don't want to make it, it's like design it and build it for me, and I will put the work in it, and it's gonna have a different. It's like looking at a picture of a place that you've never been to compared to looking at the same picture but you were there.
yeah,
So you can, in your imagination, feel the sense of space Like, because you look at a picture of the Grand Canyon, you'd be like, wow, that's beautiful. But if you were there and you felt the space, the vastness,
Absolutely,
you
absolutely,
can
yeah.
then channel that memory. You can channel that
That
feeling,
experience, yeah.
and then that photo will give you a lot more than it'll give someone who's never been there.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, there's much more in it. There's more
Hmm.
rewarding. There's like an endless. It's like,
And you can bring that back to the work
yeah,
again. You
and
know,
grow with it, and grow and grow and grow and grow. And that's
yeah,
that for me. The point. The point is to keep moving,
yeah.
like a shark. You know, changing, moving, evolving. You know, and devouring
Hmm.
constantly. Because
Consuming.
yeah, consuming my you know, I'm surrounded by my work all the time, surrounded by my paintings and my sculptures constantly to, you know, to penetrate me constantly with
Hmm.
my inspirations and where it came from and what it led to and then where it's going, you
Yeah.
know, with it. And sometimes, you know, of course, I want to shut it all off
Yeah,
and
I have a love. I
you know,
was just about to say I have a love hate thing with that because a lot of times
it's
I don't
balance.
like being surrounded by my own shit, and then also too, I go out into the rest of my house because I need, for the inventory that I do have, it's on the walls, to
Right,
keep it safe. So then I got to
right.
go look at it everywhere I
Yeah.
go, and it's like
And that's great.
I'd
And
much
that's
rather look
good.
at somebody else's work than my own. you know?
Sometimes, but that's why you leave the house. That's why you go to
Yeah,
museums.
that's
That's why
true.
you go
That's
to,
true.
you know, you go on a trip or you just go away for the weekend, you know.
Yeah.
Even the short, I went away last weekend for what, less than 48 hours. And what an enormous amount of appreciation I had for both being away from Juliet and like when I got to see her again. It was like I didn't see her for a month. I was like,
Mm,
oh my God. And like
yeah.
appreciation for that and appreciation for coming back in the studio and like,
Yes.
you know, you gotta step away
Yeah.
from it too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. As you
because
know, I
you
was
gotta
away for
balance.
3 months dealing with family stuff, and
Yeah.
when I got back, I was grateful to be helping out my family, but when I got back, I was definitely,
Yeah.
yes, this is my
Mm.
place. This
Yeah.
is my home. This is my studio.
Well,
This is my
you built
comfort zone. You
yeah,
know, yeah,
all those nooks and crannies, those corners
yeah,
that you've made yours.
yeah.
You know that
Well, just
resonates
that getting
memory and
instantly hit by the
touch.
inspiration again, because you're back in your domain where everything you have in here inspires me, or the stuff I have in here and I get inspired by, and so it's yeah,
Yeah, it's important to have the balance.
yeah,
You have to be in control of that balance because it could be kind of overwhelming to just
hmm,
staring at your stuff all the time, and then you become redundant, and then you wind up chasing your tail.
hmm,
You know, need some fresh, clean palette. Which I also love that for the open studios is that it makes me clean up the space a lot.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and then when it's over, I'm like, yes, got a clear table. You know, all I have to do is like move
yeah.
some stuff
A
off the
fresh,
walls.
brand new workspace. Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Well, we've been going about we're in like an hour and a half.
that's not bad.
Yeah,
What do you know about that?
yeah. So
Well, I think
that's.
I've got my feelings out. Like I'm trying
I
to
know. I was
like think
Jones
if
had
I've
to talk to you
covered
about this
if
because I
I've
was
covered
waiting
how
for
I
that.
feel.
I was
I mean,
waiting for that Hochbaum explosion. I knew it was coming.
oh, it's not me. It's the coffee. It's fresh, strong coffee. I do have strong feelings about things,
Yeah.
and in this particular, it's dangerously treading in my territory of like identity, and identity is something everybody's fighting over. You know, they want to have their gender
Yeah, but nobody
identity.
can take away your identity, though. Nobody
No,
can.
but they can imitate. They can emulate it in a way that takes away from what I need to
Yeah.
succeed. You know, what I need to use as a vehicle to keep going so I could sell my work, so I could just show my work, so that I feel value in the time that I put into becoming the artist I am, right?
Yeah.
Where
So
other people
it's
who
more like
make the
like
art,
an idea
they,
feeling threatened, or like
well,
a like.
no, but it's annoying because the people that find value in the money that is made from the art that's made quickly, I find the value in the time that I put in, and I put a lot more time, and
Mm,
so I feel like it's an unfair balance. Of course,
mm,
I don't feel threatened that it's going to be taken away from me, but it might make me have to like, you know, it just tarnishes
Yeah.
the reputation of what is already a fucking hard thing to be recognized as an artist. Already there's enough fucking like, laziness attached to it, or like refuse to, oh, you don't want to work, so you become an artist, or just like
Yeah.
an easy way out, and it's become more and more like, even I'm, oh, you're an artist? Oh, what a hack, what
Yeah.
sure you are. What, you couldn't do anything else? You don't have to, couldn't you flunked out of school, or you're not smart enough to be a fucking doctor? I shouldn't I shouldn't have to feel that way. Oh, but no, I'm not threatened by
Yeah,
it.
but
I'm
that's
annoyed by it. I'm annoyed by it because it's like you have no business here.
yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but
You
that
know,
goes to like you by saying what you just said. That's allowing other people's opinions to fucking corrupt or not corrupt, but get into
yeah,
your
well,
head. You know what I
I'm
mean?
only fucking
Fuck
human.
those people. You know?
Exactly, sure, but I am at the same time only human. I just turned 50 this year, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm over it more than I was, and I'm also more tired. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
there's only so much, like, before this shit does penetrate my thick skin and be like, get up and think about it. Like, that's so
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and then I have to take my time and center myself and be like, okay, don't forget it. It's all stupid. It doesn't make sense. But then I have to go online because I have to use something to try to, like, promote and sell work and stay in touch and stay relevant, because this is my career. It's not just my vocation where I can just sit on my ass and make art. I need to sell art.
Sure. Yeah.
I need to pay my bills.
I
I
agree.
need to keep
Me
this
too.
going. So I do need to contribute and engage in the internet world. And it's so frustrating because it's like you see all that, you have to see it again. It's like, people behaving this way. Oh God, go through my feed, and none of it are people. They're all ads or the suggestions of
I know,
vote
but
for.
don't look at your feet.
Well, I have to. I have to look at my feed. It's like,
I try not to. I mean, usually like you'll pop up top first or a Prowell or like all like for some reason it knows usually like my close friends or whatnot, but I try not to because it's just it's poison. It's poison.
it's like trying not to look at the accident on the side of the road. I try not to as
Yeah.
well, but you wind up looking. Casualty vampirism is just like it's easy. It's so easy, and that's the whole thing is about watching people either embarrass themselves or embarrass somebody else.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what the fucking internet is. It's a bunch of fucking like pranksters. I mean, look what I can do, and then some people are literally like, look at me prank this guy in Target. I made him do so. Or look at my butt bouncing in these pants, and now I'm changing my outfit. Shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot that bought into the fact that, someone's supplying me with, I'm influencer. You're influencing nothing. You're been influenced. You're a sucker. You're a shill. You're a fucking.
Yeah, but who cares about those people?
I care about society. I care about the world that I live in. I care about my species. I'm a fucking human. I have to live with it. I have
Yeah.
to live with being this. It's like the same thing as like how an artist can now be any old hack.
I don't know. I look
I'm also
I
a
look
human
at that
being.
shit the same way I look at fucking politics. It's just I can't do it. I can't. And, obviously when it comes time to vote, I vote for the person that I think is the better outcome. But other than that, it's like I can't do it because it just I got no control over it, and all it does is
I'm the same thing with a bag of Doritos. Like, this is garbage, but you hand me a bag of Cool Ranch and it's gone. I will.
Cool Ranch is pretty good.
In one sitting, it's gone, and it's like,
Yeah.
because I'm a fucking human being. I'm sorry. I'm only fucking human. It's so delicious. I love it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's like I can't fucking help it. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with like scrolling through the fucking internet. It's like I'm there. I put my post up and I'm scrolling. I'm like, I'm here. I'm looking, and like in like 60 seconds, I'm like, fuck, or maybe 20 minutes. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Where am I? What happened? I've just been.
The scary
I've
thing is when
watched
your phone
50
tells you
reels.
how long you were on the internet that week.
I'm like, fuck you, phone. Go make me a painting.
Yeah.
Make yourself useful.
Yeah. Go make me some AI art.
Yeah, in the style of New England artist David Stoupakis. You know, and you know that could be fun. If you try to make one of mine, and I'll make one of yours, and let's see what comes.
I ain't fucking with that.
Oh, you scared?
No, I just.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I just think it, but that's what it is. It's a gimmick. It's fun. Let's see, you know, who could bounce the highest on the bouncy castle. It's a fucking, it's a kid's toy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same kind of like joy and stuff that a fucking kid would get from a bouncy castle. It's good. It's fun to jump around and do the thing and see what happens. But then it's the same thing every time. You're just gonna bounce, or it's gonna deflate. It's a one.
Yeah, it's gonna pop or something. Yeah.
But it's not. It's I've stepped in deeper puddles than what this thing is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's. And so what? What's this fascination with the AI anyway? Fuck off, man. You didn't get being human right. Fucking sort that shit out before you start getting into the computer doing all this stuff for you. You self-driving piece of shit.
That makes me one thing that I would be not concerned, but just thinking about is like where movie posters back in the day, you'd have people like Drew Struzan and, you know, a bunch of other artists. I don't know all their names and stuff like that, but you'd have them making these amazing movie posters.
Some of them very funny too.
Oh, just unbelievable, right?
Like Thailand or Indonesia, these posters that are.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, it was like late 80s, 90s, or maybe even mid-90s, everything started becoming all photos and photoshopped and all this digital stuff. Yeah. And you never see fully painted. I even remember that oh my God, what's his name there? Who's the director from Pan's Labyrinth?
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, so Del Toro had Drew Struzan do a poster for him for that movie, and I believe that the movie company rejected it and said, no, we need an actual real thing. So he ended up still, you know, getting the original art from Drew Struzan. Right. But it's like, you know, but he didn't have control of, you know. So anyway, the whole reason why I bring this up is because of that type of thing of like the that world, and then I think about the AI thing. It's like, oh, it's going to be even far removed from actually physically, you know, doing anything in the commercial way of, you know, art being created.
Listen,
you know?
Man, if somebody could say right now, it's like, I want a David Stoupakis, but, you know, I can't afford it, so I'm going to go to AI thing. I'm going to say, make a painting, make a print, and they have a fucking 4-foot print of in your style on their wall, and they can live with that. But that, you know, and people are going to do that. That's what people are going to get away with in the future. You know, if they can't afford original work. Not that far off already. The only thing different now is that it will look suspiciously like one of yours. And people eventually would start calling it a Stoupakis because they're too lazy to explain the fact, or they're too self-important to admit that it is a hack computer AI ripoff. What it is it's a ripoff. If somebody did that, it would be ripping off one of your paintings. Whatever term you want to use, that's what it is. And nobody would ever admit that they're a racist, right? Same way they would not admit that they're a ripoff. They're ripping off your painting. So eventually the vernacular is going to change. Oh, you have a Stoupakis, I see. Yes, this is a Stoupakis.
Yeah.
You know, or they'll come up with a term like that means in the style of.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know, like how people make up words like whatever in slang all the time. This is called a flag Stoupakis. Oh, a flag Stoupakis. That's great. I also have a flag Stoupakis. I have a Hochbaum flag Stoupakis. You know, it'll be the same worth to people in the conversation and in the world saying as if they had a real Stoupakis. That's what happens. That people just like adjust, they move the goalposts around a little bit and adjust it so it fits their world.
Yeah, it fits their narrative. Right? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well,
but you know,
it's a positive outlook.
Well, the positive side of that is that, you know, nothing will replace the original.
Absolutely.
The end. And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all you get to hold on to. The same way when we leave this mortal coil, you know, we leave knowing that we did the best that we possibly could have, or not even. Who gives a fuck? Be your best. Yeah, live your best life. Just fucking live. Don't
Mm-hmm.
fuck around with other people's shit as
Mm-hmm.
much as possible. Try not to leave too much garbage, even though that's also very difficult. Try not to be too much of a fucking problem. Don't take somebody else's life away from them or happiness away from them. And that's it. You know? Then you win. You do good stuff, and you keep your fucking shit original. Keep that shit fucking that truth, the thing, the fire, the one thing that can't be sold, bought, taken, hacked, or recreated. That
Mm-hmm.
fire, the soul. There's no soul in that work.
Yeah.
It's a fruit striped gum, man. That flavor dissolves in 30
Instant.
seconds.
I know. I just
gone.
had some recently, and I totally remembered it different when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it still tasted good, but like the flavor was instantly gone.
Yeah, and then you're just chewing on the thing, and that's what this
like
kind of work
cardboard,
is.
yeah.
All this imitation art is fucking fruit strike gum. It's microwave dinner. It's fucking fast food.
Yeah.
And guess what? 20 billion served. That's right. It's very popular, and everybody wants it, but it's fucking garbage.
And there you have it, people.
Change my mind. No, don't. Fuck you. Get your head out of
They're
here.
going to start having a bunch of people sending you AI art or something. You don't want that.
Good. I it's fire pit season. Send it my way. I'm ready.
Oh. Well, that was good.
Yeah. No,
That felt good.
yeah. Thank you for having this discussion regarding
Yeah.
AI art. Just to clarify a little bit from you sum up your feeling about the process right now, and it doesn't have to be like. I mean, it's ever changing, evolving, and your mind can change. But like your thoughts
With AI.
with
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah, I think it's a great. I think it could be a great tool. I think it's with technology, we're only going to keep on advancing these kind of things. So I'm sure there'll be something else that will like make us go what the fuck in the near future again, and that. But I just hope that people don't use it as a tool to rely on, and because that's where, like you said, it's soulless. You know what I mean? Unless you're doing something further with it, where you're maybe incorporating it or just using it as a source of inspiration to allow yourself to grow to a different place in your mind, to finally get out an idea that is from your soul, heart, and mind, and that onto the canvas. So yeah, I think it's just another kind of tool to be added into the repertoire of the digital movement of visual work. Again, though, I fear younger people because I feel like it's kind of stunt your growth if that's all that you're using, because you are.
It's a shortcut.
Idea, yeah. Well, it's way more than a shortcut. It's not even. It's just creating for you. So it's like we are conduits for this thing that comes from the ether or comes from nowhere that we spit out of us and put into something, and that is something that's extremely important to me and extremely important to see other people do, where it's like I don't want to see things that there's no creative thought being put into it,
There's no
other than words.
There's a lot of creative thought, but it's all stolen from somebody else. There's no work put into it.
Well, the only work that's
there's no responsibility and consequence for the energy that was made to create the stuff that you're then using. It's like walking into somebody else's closet and putting their clothes on. It's invasive. It's fucking it's very rude.
I also feel that people, if I have a fear towards the AI art too, where people will just start even people that are super creative, where then that's going to stunt their growth too, or keep them not from growing, because then they're just going to start relying on that all the time. I can't think of a good idea. I'm just going to spit this out, and then I'll do something from that. So it has its upsides, but it's
for me, it's not an enhancer. It's fucking it's like, I love drugs. It's a fentanyl though. It's a dangerous drug. It's not like it's chemical produced. It's garbage.
Yeah.
It gets you so fucking high so fast, and then it kills you really quick too.
Yeah.
It kills your creativity.
Instantly.
It kills your vision, and you're stepping all over the fucking people that came before you. It's like pissing on everyone's fucking grave, man. It's just so disrespectful to the process, because it's putting so much celebration in grave robbing. That's it.
Yeah.
Like yeah. It's an interesting stepping stone to a part of a process, but that's not how it's being introduced. It's being introduced as a solution to art.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
That's where it's
definitely
insulting.
not. Yeah. Of course. And I don't, like, as an individual,
let's get rid of that pesky creative process.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
No, fuck you. We don't need a better way. Go improve go fix a bridge or some roads or something. Come up with a better way from getting from point A to point B, but don't fuck with the creative process.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be fixed. We don't need that fucking tool.
Yeah.
It's like, the new potato smeller. Like, you don't need that. What do you fucking need to smell a potato thing with a tool? It's not unnecessary. Get it out of the kitchen.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me like that, because there's nothing that's going to keep me from stop making physical work. You know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't.
But it's a fart in the fucking elevator. It's like, it's not, we all have to be here. Did you have to do that now? You could have just not done that.
Yeah.
And we all have to fucking deal with it. It's like, Jesus Christ, I'm sitting here trying to do my thing, and it's like, turn your music down or whatever. It's just invasive. It's invasive. Just like all this other shit that's going on in politics of the world, getting their fingers in everybody's fucking bodies and thought process and property and all this stuff. And it's like, you know what? Get the fuck away from my sheds. Yeah, damn. Next time you kids want to fucking go through my yard, go around.
Around the back.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, man. I love how we have, like, the differences and the different ways of thinking about it, and it's got me a lot more kind of, just being more aware of just this conversation about being just grounded in my own fucking work.
Yeah. Well, I'm the kind of friend that if I saw you starting to do that kind of AI creative work, I would have to intervene and be like, look, man,
you need to go to rehab or something.
Really, this is starting to suck.
Yeah. No.
I have to let you know that your shit sucks.
Yeah.
No, but I doubt that would happen.
It took me
still.
a very, very long. I was a late adopter. Well, until I started working in until I started working when I was doing video games. Was the first time I used Photoshop. I was a late adopter of it.
Yeah, me too. I did. I mean, I knew how to use the basics, but now I create a lot of images by scanning my negatives and going in Photoshop and really fucking around with them.
Yeah.
A lot more and enjoying it. But then, just like any other part in the studio, I get bored with that, or I get not bored, but like I want to move. I need more. I need to get physical. I need to have different techniques.
Well, you go through motions and stuff like that too. It's like you got to be able to, everything kind of
that's me.
Fires off of everything else.
That's just me, and that's my way. I don't expect, everybody wants to have the same kind of satisfaction from their work and their craft and their creative process. But as much as anyone could say that a home cooked meal is better than fast food and believe it's true, I feel the same way about AI created art compared to like organically created fucking artwork.
Yeah,
it just has the same title, and that's what hurts me. It's like it's AI created art, and this is David Hochbaum's created art. It's like in the same banner, and that's the part that really gets under my skin.
Yeah. One last thing I just want to bring up too is just that I sometimes I tend to forget about this too, and this has nothing necessarily to do with just AI art. This has to do with just in general of like growth within change and stuff like that, where we come from a different time, you know what I mean, too. We're at the age of, I'm almost 50, you are 50, born in the 70s and stuff like that. We were, a lot of, we also came from kind of like just a more labor kind of background, hands-on and stuff like that. So it's wild to think about a kid being like somebody now just in their being 18 or 15 or 20, big difference.
It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference from starting at the early stages of technology. And
we grew up when you didn't even have a computer in your house.
Yeah, the introduction of things like
telephone.
And these were things that were still kind of safe to take apart and figure out the inner workings, and it was very basic. Now I can open a computer, I want to know what the fuck's going on inside. It doesn't matter. It's all fucking chips and hardware that I have no
that we don't understand.
Yeah, but there's a less of a connection with the material physical object, understanding how it works, the innards and stuff like that. But it's also a different perspective of relying on those things in order to be able to either create or live. Some people can't even imagine not having a phone, or computer, period. And in a lot of ways we need to have these things to function, because society, we need to know, we need access to things via computer, whether it's each other or other resources, or do our work on it. But we have both sides. We have access to knowing both sides, and that's a benefit. So we could see maybe perspective, the devil's advocate for things, but they'd be like, this is actually maybe an unnecessary direction to go with computers. We don't need it. This is not helping humans. This is not where the humans need help. We need help here with this, figuring how to depollute the waters that we've polluted. Let's use technologies for stuff like that, not speed up the creative process so we can have paintings faster without skilled talent and people who who are like, what are we celebrating? We're celebrating the human spirit and the soul through art. We're not celebrating the fact that art can be created. We're celebrating human spirit, whether it's the individual human or it's the commonality and the connection. That's what we're celebrating with art and music and stuff. But if something else is just creating it because it's like mishmash and instant gratification, then frankly that's not art. That is just product. That's just byproduct. It's a byproduct of an already existed art. So frankly it should have a different title, in my opinion. It's not art. It's AI created thing. It's not art. It's not. I'm saying it now.
I think that's a good place to leave it.
All right.
Change
my mind.
Yeah. Send it over to David Hochbaum.
So if you think you can convince me that AI created art is good, then please send it to David Stoupakis, located. No,
don't send it to me. No, wait.
No. Don't send it. Don't.
Too much shit as it is going on with my email.
Enjoy your art that you make and have fun, but realize that there's a line that gets crossed when things have transformed. And it went through that across that line. It's become something else. It's stripped down to the bone. It's no longer flesh and blood and soul. It's just a skeleton of an idea that somebody else fucking did. So, bravo. You did such a good job, little Billy. Now go out there and play with your friends, you fucking shit-ass hack motherfucker. All right.
I love you, Dave.
I love you, and let's do this again real soon.
And thank you for listening, everybody.
Thanks for your patience in our next episode, and we'll be back in 3 more years with another episode. Gimmie Babel.
You almost forgot the name of it.
Yeah, whatever you need, gimme a break.com. Gimmie Babel. And you can find us here on iTunes and SoundCloud, and you just Google us and go to Stoupakis.com and davidhochbaum.com, and you can enjoy yourselves. And fuck, if this comes out before the 24th of September.
That's right.
September 24th, open studios at Jamaica Plain. Go to davidhochbaum.com for more details on studio visits throughout the year as well. Anyway.
And there you have it, people.
Time, keep it real, like real, not fake stuff. Okay?
not AI real.
Keep it real.
Bye.
Or keep it to yourself. All right. Love you.
Love you. Till next time.
Yeah.